New home sales surge, 760% above expectations. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because the HIA new home sales data came out a few days ago and it has just trounced expectations. It has surged. It has really surged. So home builder is definitely having an impact. If we have a look here, everyone, at the building approvals, you can see that uptick on the blue line at the top. That's private dwellings. It's houses, essentially. That's an uptick there. That's home builder. That's home builder. I had a viewer who sent me, he sent me an example from Bundy. He was looking at a house to buy up north, a little bit north from Brisbane. And one he was looking at had recently been cut down to 200,000, down from 230. And he's going, look, you can buy a new build, a block of land for 160. So essentially you can get an existing house for 200,000. And what he'd realized is this is an example of where the government is incentivizing people to buy land and build new with all of these schemes and interventions. And it's putting downward pressure on the existing stock, on the older stock. Yeah, I mean, this is Bundy. You'll get some cheaper houses there. But still, the same thing applies to any other part of the country. So the government is probably helping these tradies with the home builder. Yes, but then they're slapping you in the face with all of these downward pressure on your existing house. So they're helping you with one hand, breaking your legs with an iron bar, then handing you a crutch and say, you need us. You need us. So if we jump over to trading economics, we can see the expectation. So Australian new home sales increased 3.8% over a month earlier in September of 2020, following a 3.6% rise in the previous month. Data from the HIA showed sales rose by 29.7% in South Australia, followed by Victoria, reflecting leads and contract negotiation that commenced before Stage 4 restrictions came into effect. And New South Wales, new home sales were up 11.8%. due to the positive impact of the home builder in several states. And you can see here the expectation. So in August, the expectation was down 3.5%. And there they smashed it even more, went up to 3.6%. In September, the forecast was a 0.5% increase, and again, smashed it, 3.8%. That's this huge increase, this huge, change to market expectations. And this just shows you the power of government changing the rules, intervening in the market, propping up housing, everyone, propping up housing. Are you in the housing game, guys? Are you a builder or a designer, drafty? Are you working in the housing game? How are you finding it? I know we've got a few surveyors who watch the content, and he's telling us in the comments he's flat out at the moment. But then again, you're flat out for 3 months. What happens in the next 3 months, guys? So let's have a look at this. New home sales. So, new home sales remain elevated. The home builder program was intended to restore consumer confidence into the housing market and draw forward investment to smooth the decline in new home construction following the recession. We are seeing the full impacts of home builder on new home sales as consumers finalize their building plan. And we've seen that in consumer confidence. It's jumped right up. Have I updated the chart? Yes, I have. And I'll do a video on that later today. But look at that climb. We're now, more people are now positive compared to negative. That's essentially what it means, over 100. There you go. Could also be, I put the argument together that we're being trained for stimulus. It's like in the States, the share market is trained for stimulus. Everyone expects stimulus, which is fine, but what's the inevitable consequence of increasing the money supply? Traditionally, that's what inflation was, an increase in the money supply. So, sales rose modestly in September to result in 4 strong months of sales since the announcement of home builder. Nationally, these strong months of sales have more than offset the very poor results seen following the introduction of the restrictions. In the 7 months since restrictions came into effect in March 2020, sales are 11.8% higher than in 2019. The positive impact of home builder has varied across the state. I mean, it shows you this is just having an impact, guys. WA has seen the largest increase in sales since the announcement of home builder. although they haven't had the most uptake of home builders. It's funny that. But WA also has an insane amount of government handouts, bribes to get you into housing. The combined impact of home builder, the state government's building bonus program, and the pent-up demand from housing has seen a sharp increase in sales. WA had the shortest pipeline of work entering this recession, and these sales will lead to an increase in work on the ground as early as the December quarter. See, this is the thing, guys. Particularly with these building approvals, it takes time for them to flip over into work. Then it takes even longer for the money from the home builder to start getting into people's pockets. We were looking at doing some work here. I've actually engaged an engineer in there. Should be working on it right now. Expecting some drawings, some sketches today. But if we were to do it with home builder, we want to actually try and get it below the 150 grand threshold. But nonetheless, because we'd be self-funding it, we wouldn't get the money until the end of the contracts, and that would be well into next year. So when all the politicians are going, oh, home builder's a failure, you haven't paid any money out, it shows they're being disingenuous, or it shows they have got no understanding about construction, which wouldn't be surprising considering the range of skills that are in our political class. You know, sales in WA in September plateaued. It is not clear if this is monthly volatility or if it is the positive impact of the grant starting to wane as the end of the programs approach. Sales also plateaued in Queensland with a 4.2% decline during the month of September. This leaves the September quarter 39.8% higher than the June 2020 quarter. Oh, only nearly 40% higher. Diddums. SA has also seen a significant increase in new work entering the pipeline, with the September quarter 77.7% higher than the June quarter. So is this why we're seeing the increase in apartment rents in South Australia? Is it because people are maybe just going into apartments temporarily while projects get built or extensions get built? Maybe. I'm trying to figure out why apartment rents have gone up there. Someone let me know. Are there any projects? What's going on? You know, or maybe people just want to move to South Australia because they like the concrete power poles. That's it. I figured it out. I like Adelaide. I shouldn't tease you too much. When balanced with the low sales at the beginning of the pandemic, the 7 months to September 2020 are equal to sales in 2019. Sales in New South Wales have been underwhelming in comparison to the other states. This is likely due to the price caps slowing the uptake of the program in Sydney. Despite this, sales in New South Wales continued their slow and steady rise with a 9.7% increase in the September quarter, leaving sales for the 7 months since March consistent with those experienced in 2019. Remember, guys, first recession in 28 years. This shows you the power of government intervening in the market. And this is why they're going to do everything they can to keep this fiat system, even with all the problems and bubbles it creates, because it gives them this power. It gives them this power. They can come in as the hero and save people with magic money. Forget about inflation. That's it. No one appreciates that as a tax. Don't worry about it. We'll come and save you. Sales in Victoria were surprisingly strong considering stage 4 restrictions were still in place. Victoria reported a 16.7% increase in September compared to August to return them to the same level experienced at the onset of the home builder program. These sales in September reflected leads and contract negotiations that commenced before restrictions came into effect. The adverse impact of these stage 4 restrictions, when display and sales sites were closed, may emerge in coming months. We do not expect these elevated sales levels to be sustained. Home Builder is a short-lived stimulus program. Eligible contracts for Home Builder need to be signed by the 31st of December 2020. Given the lead time for obtaining approvals and that commencement needs to start within 3 months of signing the contract, we expect new home sales to decline as the end of the program approaches. Well, there you go. Then we'll start to see more calls for government intervention to extend the program. Come on. What do you, a tab running a bet on this? Can we bet on it, guys? What do you think? What do you think? I might put a vote up in the channel community to see if you think they'll extend Home Builder, maybe Home Builder Mark II. With the tight time frame for work to commence on the ground, other factors may constrain access to the program. Access to finance remains tight and loan applications are typically taking 2 months to process. Adding to this, the availability of land in some areas will be a constraint on consumers accessing the program. Well, that's a good point. We need to open up more land. We need to open up more land. particularly with the ability for people to live remotely now and work remotely. But then you're competing on a global stage. If you can work remotely, anyone can. So, as these constraints emerge to varying degrees across the country, the surge in new home sales will cool. This may already be evident in WA with a decline of 11.5% in the month of September, and to a lesser extent in Queensland with a 4.2% decline. Nonetheless, the improvement in the number of new home sales over the most recent 4 months will see a lift in the number of homes under construction in the December quarter, compared to what would have been the case without home builder and other state stimulus measures. So there we have it, everyone. Just the HIA's take on the significant growth in new home sales. We're seeing it in the building approvals. We're seeing it in the, completely decimation, sevenfold increase, sevenfold beating. Am I even saying that right? Or 7 times the success, 7xing the forecast. That's it, 7xing the forecast. Are you in the game, guys? Are you seeing it? Here's the thing. You might be flat out in, first quarter of December, fantastic kicking goals, and then bam, it all turns off. So if you're in this situation, build up a bloody war chest, guys. Do it. Just do it. Don't worry about it. Don't buy that Lambo. Don't buy that jet ski. Build up a war chest. Build up a war chest. Take advantage of the opportunity, because you don't know what's going to happen those 6 months later. How long do you think? How long do you think a pipeline needs to be in place before you start buying toys again? Why don't you let me know that in the comments, guys? Oh, sorry, not toys. Business investments. Let me know that in the comments. Take care, guys. Have a great day. And if you want to support the channel, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. Support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve. Buy our merch from HeiseSays or Teespring. You can support us using Gold Pass or PayPal. Take care, and I'll see you in the next episode.